Hi, everybody. Welcome to Module 11, which I think is probably the most important module of this class. And so this is actually a really short lecture because there's no point in me just trying to go over PubMed and Lexicomp with you. You need to get in there and you need to figure out how to use these systems because they're going to be essential for the rest of your career. So with that, let's get started. The most common place you go to find papers is PubMed. Everybody goes to PubMed, technically called Medline, I believe. And so most people just use the search function, which has gotten better over the years, I think probably due to AI. And so they treat it like Google, which is pretty good. But there's other ways we can use PubMed too. If you go into the advanced search setting of PubMed, you can do search strings. So you can use different operators, right? And, or, not. Or you can use truncations too to help spread out your search. And what you'll find is that when you do the Google type searching and then you go into the advanced feature, you'll see that it kind of does it for you. But it's good to know these things because you can specify your search and really try to narrow it down. Because this is the problem, right, with PubMed is you can search something and you'll get 15,000 results. You need to be able to narrow it down so you're not there forever trying to find a specific paper or guideline or whatever you're doing. So this is where building effective search strings, which you just need to practice, comes in highly useful. Here is an image of that advanced search tool that you can use in PubMed. And so you can actually start to build your query here using this advanced search tool. You can select different fields. You can build more complex queries. You can actually save your search history. You can go back to it if you create an NCBI profile. All these things are very useful if you're doing an in-depth search in your career or if you're doing a project in school or whatever it may be. Now, you could use a keyword search versus mesh searching. Again, if you do a keyword search in PubMed and then you go into it, you'll see it kind of automatically applies mesh searching for you, but you should know what the difference is because I think this actually could come up on the boards. So keyword searching is just you type and it searches. You speak English into it and it searches for whatever you want. Mesh searching is controlled vocabulary. So each paper that gets published or indexed in PubMed has mesh terms applied to it by library information scientists or probably AI nowadays. And it uses standardized terminology. So it has standardized terms for disease states or medications, and it helps improve search precision. And it basically helps you look through the literature more efficiently. Usually, you want a combined approach. So you usually want to use some keywords and some mesh terms to really capture all the literature you're doing. Again, not only is this useful for the rest of your career, if you ever do systematic reviews and meta-analyses like we talked about in the previous lecture, this is huge. This is the foundation of a systematic review and meta-analysis is how well you can search the literature. What if you need to find a specific article in PubMed? The best way to do that is to find the PubMed ID, and you enter that into the search query bar for PubMed, and it will pull up that specific paper immediately. Some have a PMC ID, which is PubMed Central, which is actually the free version of PubMed, meaning that you can always access the full text in PubMed Central. And so some papers have both a PubMed ID and a PubMed Central ID. But once you know the PubMed ID, you can either report that or share that or search for further papers that way. Finally, where you will be spending most of your time throughout the next 4 years is with major drug information databases. And so the common ones we use and we have access to on the library's website. So if you go to, in your search string, whatever search engine you want, you put in Wayne State Pharmacy Library, go to that link. It'll show you all the resources we have. We have a good amount of resources. Micromedics is one of the most common ones. Lexicomp, super popular, a little more expensive. Facts and comparisons, probably used a little bit less, but still good for certain searches. And then up-to-date in clinical pharmacology. Up-to-date will provide you in-depth expert reviews on various topics you search. And then clinical pharmacology is more for your pharmacokinetic IV compatibility searches. So that concludes your mini overview of drug information databases. So what do you need to do now? You need to figure out and master them. You need to figure out how to put search queries in to get the answer you're looking for. You need to get really good and really comfortable with at least one, but multiple of them. You need to know what the positive and minuses of each database are, where you go to lexicon for different things, what you might use for up-to-date, what you might use clinical pharmacology for, where do you look for drug lactation, where do you look for IV compatibility. These are the things that you need to get used to and understand between the databases. We will be doing practices in class. I will go over some examples showing you on the screen as I click through some of the things that I've learned over the years from these databases. But again, the best way for you to become masters of these information databases is for you to do it yourself and start practicing. So go out there and good luck.